Welcome to St. Louis on the Air. I'm Sarah Fenske. For 52 years, Lion's Choice has been St. Louis's go-to eatery for roast beef sandwiches. Founders Marv Gibbs and Clint Tobias wanted to provide an alternative to the burger joints that had proliferated in McDonald's wake. And boy, did they succeed. Today, the roast beef, ham, and turkey sandwiches at Lion's Choice are no longer just 69 cents each, but they're still at the heart of a classic menu. And while many other regional fast food chains have been bought up by the big guys or closed down, Lion's Choice is still growing strong. Its CEO of 2 years, Michael Kupstas, has big ambitions for the beloved local favorite. Under his watch, Lion's Choice has been opening new stores, remodeling old ones, and even giving breakfast a test run. Here to discuss all things Lion's Choice is CEO Michael Kupstas, and he told me to call him Cup, so I'm going to do that. Cup, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Sarah. Thanks.
Do you have a favorite Lion's Choice moment or food item? Give us a call at 314-382-8255. That's 382-TALK. Or you can send us a tweet at STL On Air or email us at talk@stlpublicradio.org. So, Cup, last month, Food and Wine named Lion's Choice Missouri's best fast food. Were you excited about that, or were you worried that this would lead to a bunch of food snobs and Instagrammers flocking to your restaurants?
How could you not be excited about it? It was a surprise and one that we've been celebrating ever since, obviously.
Did it end up leading to any sort of bump that the Food and Wine readers are now coming to get roast beef sandwiches?
It's hard to say that there's a direct correlation with that, but I'd like to think that certainly it was a reminder for our really strong and core base that, hey, yeah, I do love those fries. And,
I need to go get another
serving.
serving.
Get another one right away. Yeah, exactly.
Now, your personal story, you came to Lion's Choice after years before you had led Panera, and then you were kind of enjoying a semi-retirement.
It was totally retirement.
Total retirement.
Total.
What made this job appealing to you?
It was really the similarity of an experience I had early on with Panera, to be honest. I think what makes certain brands stand out is that they are able to differentiate dramatically in a really crowded field. And secondly is that you have such a loyal guest following that you actually can see it in people's eyes when they eat a roast beef sandwich. What really surprised me as I investigated the brand was not just the loyal fanatic fans, but the employees, the team members. We just gave a team member who's been slicing roast beef for us for 42 years, just gave her service award. We have a general manager, 42 years.
Wow.
The base of team members and support that we've been able to grow on over the last 52 years has been phenomenal. So when you start looking at that equation, right, unbelievable product, craveable, ridiculously good product, a fanatic group of guests and fans that want to seek you out, and then a loyal team member base was like, well, maybe it's tempting enough to do something again and try it with Lion's Choice. And it's been fun.
Had you been yourself a Lion's Choice regular before this?
Not as frequent as I am today. I think like most people in St. Louis, they've experienced Lion's Choice, and I think it really becomes a question of staying top of mind and how frequent you're not just willing to eat and experience the brand. And I think that speaks to one of the strategies we've had over the years, which is to make sure that we provide current product lines and items that are not just trendy, but appeal in a broader way so that we can, in fact, increase some frequency. You mentioned we've added turkey and ham. 2 years ago, we introduced a salad line that we refresh every year. The other thing that we've determined is that people hold on to memories at Lion's Choice. Part of it is great because your 52-year concept, we all have memories. But in 2007, we introduced a product line of platters, which was basically our roast beef on Texas toast with some delicious gravy, mashed potatoes, and green beans. We just brought those back. And we have heard from our guests immediately, like, it's been too long. Why did it take so long?
So people had remembered this from 2007.
Totally remember this product. And I think what we attempt to do when we revisit some of these famous and memorable meals is to bring them up to date, right? So in this case, we now offer 7 different side dishes. So
this platter has more customization now.
It does, which is something we know is important in people's minds today, and it also allows you to eat through various dietary needs. We have huge followers of guests who are gluten-free. And you make a gluten-free platter. So we're serving not just mac and cheese, but fresh broccoli, steamed to order, mashed potatoes, French fries, coleslaw, 7 different items. So,
That's great.
And I think it's certainly approaching a broader appeal.
So on the subject of superfans, our producer Alexis Moore actually talked to her dad. Her dad is Earl Moore, and he first tried Lion's Choice in the mid-'70s, and he is still a big fan.
I stumbled across it. There were a couple of local restaurants growing up that were, I believe, unique to St. Louis. One was called Q King, was the Barbecue King. And I ate there, all the time as a youngster. I would go, it was across the street from my school, so I would go there and eat. But then I discovered Lion's Choice as I started driving.
When was this, like late 70s?
This was in the mid-'70s when I first started driving. And I was driving one day and I saw this place called Lion's Choice. And I wanted something different than the McDonald's or the White Castle, because I ate a lot of burgers in those days. So I pulled in the Lion's Choice, got their roast beef sandwich, and it had a very different taste to it. So I got hooked on it from that point on. And, in that first order, I got an orange freeze with it. And that just hooked me in for years, forever, as a matter of fact.
To this day.
To this day, I will go and get food from other areas or other restaurants, but stop and get my orange freeze from Lion's Choice.
Yeah, that's true. That makes Mom so mad.
That was Alexis Moore talking with her father, Earl Moore. Do you hear from people who have just this one item that they just can't live without on your menu?
We do, and we also hear about how they make products and items their own. I mean, we actually have 4 pillars that we really focus on. Obviously, the roast beef, which is roasted in-house every day, 3 hours, sliced medium rare to order. Our French fries, which have a 3-step process. So we brine them, we blanch them, which means partially cook them, and then we complete the cook. The third pillar is customization, which is what people just love about us. The combinations we get on a regular basis, kind of like we call them the LC hacks, but people creating their own sauces to go with all the products, and they suddenly name them, call them their own.
They come up with they're mixing this sauce with that sauce.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I don't. It's amazing. Nobody takes it straight, to be honest. I'm a unique person. I love horseradish and au jus, and I kind of mix them once they hit the beef.
Yeah, that's a pretty conventional choice.
It's a pretty conventional
right there.
approach. And the fourth pillar is custard for us. Something that we've been doing for the whole 52 years. So I think that customization piece is where we really are differentiated. It's not the order where the restaurant is putting the product on top of the protein in the back of house and then you're getting it. Literally, that sauce, exactly right. That sauce bar is just full of folks creating their own memory.
That's awesome.
Just like that gentleman with his orange freeze.
And our phone lines, perhaps related to this, are blowing up. I think we might have some Lion's Choice fans on the line here. We also have some people with some questions. So let's go to a caller. Okay. Pete, calling from St. Charles. Hi, you're on St. Louis on the Air.
Hi, guys. Number one, I listen to NPR all the time. And number two, I love Lion's Choice. So thank you.
We can both say thank you for that.
Thank you very much, yes.
And so my question was, do you have any plans to, with the low-carb craze, just offer meat that you could pick up, say, for a family for dinner, like in 1-pound cartons that's sliced fresh and ready to go without the bread?
Yes, you can call or stop in any Lion's Choice and get that today. It's available without bread. Yeah.
Is there a special lingo for that? Or?
No, it's just telling them you want to buy X number of pounds of roast beef or ham or turkey. Yeah, it's available today.
Pete, is this your lucky day?
Yeah. I'll be doing it this week. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for your loyalty.
Yeah, thank you for that call, Pete. That was great. I'm glad you could solve that question. That actually leads to something I wanted to ask you about. Burger King, for example, they rolled out the Impossible Whopper, which is a meat-free version of their classic item. It seems like this might be harder with roast beef, but are you guys exploring plant-based alternatives?
We are. We are.
Can that possibly capture the taste of a roast beef sandwich? That's got to be so tough.
I don't think it's about attempting to duplicate roast beef flavor in a plant-based protein. I think it is, again, back to the point I made earlier, it's about giving folks more reasons to visit Lion's Choice throughout the week. And I think, we've heard everything from Meatless Mondays. And in fact, I read this statistic the other day, which I think is amazing, is that the largest user of these vegan products or these plant-based products are meat eaters. It's just a rotation within gathering new tastes, new flavors, and trying to be a little bit better about consuming less meat.
So would this be kind of like a plant-based burger type option, or what direction could you go that would fit your brand?
We're looking at every option right now, but I think what is important, right, is not to mimic the thing that's made us famous for 52 years, and to provide something that maybe there's already a hole in the menu for. So I think we could flavor and create some pieces that would go down a poultry way, or just walk away from roast beef. I don't think we're trying to duplicate a roast beef in a plant-based process like Burger King did.
I think that makes sense in your case. So we also heard from a number of people on Twitter. Josh on Twitter says, those Lion's Choice fries are so good. Sandwiches too, but the fries are top shelf. He's a fan of that process you described. Joe on Twitter writes, a few weeks ago, I was pleasantly surprised to see a Lion's Choice food truck in my neighborhood. I made a point to stop and get a king roast beef. So you guys did pioneer this food truck, the lean roast beef machine?
Yeah, isn't that a great name?
That is an amazing name. When did you roll that out?
It was August of 17. So and last year, actually, as we opened up the Kansas City market, it spent a lot of time trying to introduce the brand in Kansas City. But we have three primary objectives for the food truck, which I'm sure are not totally different than a lot of other brands. But one is obviously, we use it to replace brick and mortar in places where we don't have the store. Two, to build some awareness of the brand, which is primarily why it's there. It's actually it's parked inside the Memorial Stadium at Mizzou now on home games this week.
Wow!
Too. Another great way.
So you're spreading the word to Columbia.
We are. And the third objective is to do good in the community. And in fact, we sent that truck to Columbia during the summer after the devastating tornadoes, and we surprised some folks who at the APA not too long ago when they were doing an empty the kennels bid and fed everybody who came to visit those adorable pets free food. So it becomes one additional vehicle that we can expose people to our product and do good in the community with. So
you mentioned this move you recently made into the Kansas City market for a chain that, as best I know, has always been just in the St. Louis area.
It's tried a few franchise opportunities over the 52 years, but most of those are rescinded. So yeah, we've been a St. Louis brand and primarily known for that. So we entered Kansas City.
So that's a huge step. What made you decide, A, let's do this, and B, let's do Kansas City?
Well, one is we know people like roast beef across the country. That's sort of,
and French fries
and French fries and orange freezes and what. There's obviously a pretty simple migration between St. Louis and Kansas City, both in terms of where people live, work, and they drive down I-70. So that was a pretty obvious place. And I think for us, we really want to. We believe the brand is bigger than a St. Louis brand. And Kansas City was a natural first step, and we're right now looking at 4 other markets in the Midwest that we hope.
Oh, wow. Sort of mid-sized cities like
Kansas cities,
City and St. Louis?
Sure, but I think we can play anywhere.
So what is the biggest challenge in being a local chain in a field that is dominated by nationals like McDonald's, Burger King?
Well, when you're a concept and you are singularly based, you live and die by that market, right? Whether it's the economic influx or movement or weather, et cetera. And I think that's a challenge. But I think this industry's biggest challenge is honestly employment. It's just a tough time. And I think
trying to find good people or trying to pay them enough?
All of the above. Unemployment is record lows in so many ways. So everybody that really wants to work is already working. And then to find those folks who really want to do something special and be part of a culture that we think is bigger and better than the rest is tough to do. And it does have pressures all the way around. And I think that's not unique to St. Louis. That's unique to the industry.
And not unique to Lion's Choice.
Yeah. And hopefully what helps us is the proof that we've had folks working for us for over 40 years and that we're doing some things right right, and it's a place that they can call their own family.
That's a great testimonial. Lion's Choice CEO Michael Kupstas, thank you so much for joining us today. I want to apologize to our callers. We weren't able to get to everybody, and we couldn't get to all the action on Twitter. People just love Lion's Choice. This is St. Louis on the Air on St. Louis Public Radio. Thank you for listening. I'm Sarah Fenske.
Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association, saluting Earth Day on April 22nd with an ongoing commitment to help offset carbon emissions with sustainable harvesting of Missouri forests. Details at choosewood.com.